Last week I had an event that I spoke at, a workshop that I spoke at, and I got a lot of great questions from families that attended. And the families that were there were families who had either adopted a child that had special needs, or they were in the foster system and they currently had a child that they were fostering that had special needs. And so a lot of great questions. It was the first time I'd been, at an event speaking to this type of family, so it was a lot of unique questions that I was getting that I hadn't gotten before. But there was a few questions I got that were wonderful that I think will help everybody watching this. And one of those questions that I got was, how do we make the time to begin the planning process? It was all about time and all about, there's so much going on in their day-to-day lives, and how do we plan for this? And it's a great question, and I completely understand that planning for the future seems overwhelming. It seems frustrating and it's confusing at times, and all of these emotions are reasons that a lot of families delay their planning process, and we get that. And then you take in the fact that we have taken special needs planning, which is traditionally financial planning and legal planning, and we have added 3 more areas of planning before we even get to those 2, and now we have 5 areas of planning. And it now becomes even more overwhelming and frustrating and confusing if you look at it from the outside, and we get that. And so to answer the question that you guys might be thinking about and feeling that's along those same lines, the first thing that I tell families, it's all about mindset. I've talked about mindset so much on here, and I'm going to continue talking about mindset because how we think about things is so important in relation to what outcome we get in our lives, in our plans, in anything in life. How we think will affect the outcome. And so how are we thinking about planning? Are we thinking about planning in a way that we have to plan because of so many of life's what if questions? What if you are not here tomorrow? Well, we better make sure we have a plan. While that is true, that's not much motivation to get this planning process done. And so that's one way of looking at it. But what if we expand that mindset? What if we look at planning as an opportunity to create an amazing life today for your child or for your loved one? What are we doing today that's going to allow them to live a purposeful and impactful life? Now, looking at the 2, to me, one stands out as to being a good motivation of why we would plan. For me in my life, planning for what ifs doesn't motivate me much. But if I'm planning because I want to see an opportunity happen, that's an amazing opportunity that can help others, that's why I want to plan for things. And so how are you looking at the planning process? You're looking at it of necessity because we have to plan for what ifs, or are you looking at it by what kind of opportunities can you create for your family or your child today? The answer is clear for me about what one is more motivating. So look at your mindset and how you're thinking about things. But we also realize that the planning steps, even with an abundant mindset, there are so many steps to take. It's a process. It takes effort and it takes time on your part. And so mindset isn't the only piece that's a part of this puzzle, how to get this done. So what we have done is we have taken our process and we've created a online coaching and accountability group where we have people coming together on an online platform, and each week we have curriculum and we have content that we share with families, and we have taken our entire planning process done and we have broken it up into small chunks so that every single week you know exactly what the process is that you have to get done to be able to complete your plan in a certain amount of time. The first group that we took through this process, it took 8 weeks to get this group through, and I think that that's probably a little bit of a rushed time frame. So the next group that we're going to do is going to be a 12-week group. So the last group that we did, every single Friday we got together as a group on an online platform. I answered questions, I shared some things that families needed to really think through in this week's curriculum, and then they had a week to get that done. The next week we would redo that, and we had so many families get through the entire planning process in 8 weeks. And so that was such a motivation, not only that it was small and compact, and there was different bite-sized pieces of the planning that you could get done. But you were also involved in a community of other families who were trying to get their planning process complete. So if that's something that is of interest to you and you want to learn more about these groups, let me know, shoot me an email. But this question that I got from the group last week about just finding time to be able to plan is one that I know that each of you are struggling to find. And so however we can be of help, let us know. If we need to be more one-on-one throughout the planning process or have more one-on-one attention, great. But I would encourage you guys, think about your mindset. Why are you planning in the first place? Focus on the abilities, focus on the amazing opportunities that you can create through your planning, but then also take advantage of these accountability and coaching groups that we have started. Make it a priority to schedule this, and each week take off little by little by little of the planning process. Keep sending me your questions, guys. Love doing this. Love being part of this growing community of surrounding ourselves with people who are helping and encouraging others to plan for an abundant future for their child. I'll talk to you soon.